we're going to speak to Karl and Ever is the name.
That's changed my name, yes.
Changed your name, yes. We're going to speak about the long walk to freedom and the way of the North. Is the way that you're doing right now, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is your third walk, okay?
Yeah.
The first one was the 500 miles. Then you walked 500 miles all the way to London, and now you're addicted to walking. So tell me all about it. How is the walk going, and your first impressions and views in this new event?
The event is huge. I think that would be my first thing to say, is that it's not just one walk, and it's not just Karl and I. There are 3 walks. We're doing 1,320 miles. That's 1320, which is the date of the signing of the Declaration of Arbroath, which is a really important point in our history. But there's also a 700-mile walk and a 500-mile walk. The 500-mile walk is taking place at the same time as this. And what we're trying to do with this project is take the digital covenant out to practically every large town, medium-sized town and city, and some of the really outflung areas of Scotland, to get encourage people to sign the digital covenant, so that if the government doesn't, the Scottish government doesn't push through for a referendum, or the UK government try to block it, then we can use this covenant as the will of the Scottish people, because it's nothing to do with Parliament. It is the people, and we are sovereign, and this can go to the United Nations, and we can leave it up to them to fight our battles for us. Well, not leave it up to them, but we can ask for their assistance to push independence through. So it's massive. The project is huge. I can't. It's too difficult to to grasp sometimes.
It's a vast concept. It's a vast concept.
Yes, it is.
You have to. We've only just gotten in.
We have,
and things were a little more in the air as we arrived than when we expected. So we only just
literally
got in
sat
here.
down. Yeah.
Okay. I saw a picture from Sky, and because I spoke to Dave the other day, so that was very interesting. With as a chip with people can sign very easily.
Yeah.
How are you handling all the pandemic thing? Are you okay with that? How you?
I think we have to be. I think we have been since the beginning hugely conscious of it. So we're kind of, Karl and I, anyway, we are kind of what we call bubbled anyway. We're allowed close contact. Obviously, really good job. We're very close now. Close contact, and then we're also bubbled with the people in the support unit. But then what we have to do is take the same precautions anybody else was, which is the washing the hands, making sure you're 2 meters apart,
wearing masks.
And being very, very conscious. We've got a lot of they're sort of business card sized. In fact, there's one over there. Just hang on a minute.
Yeah. I pointed at this particular issue because some people speak about how people are afraid of the pandemic to do any event. So I want people to understand that you have been very, very aware, conscious that it was important, the security and the safety in this event. And tell me.
Yeah, the first thing anybody sees when they come onto the website for the long walk to freedom is a COVID warning, basically informing the people that everything we are doing is COVID sensitive and in accordance with the current guidelines. We're extra cautious when we're out in groups as to be seen to be following the social distancing, and yeah, we're extremely also what took us a bit longer to get in here with the COVID situation as well.
Yeah, just with all the what happened.
Ever you were about to show the big chip, the wheat chip?
Well, we haven't, because our chips, unfortunately, our chips have been put on the sleeves of a big waterproof jacket, and that's because we're going to be, because we're walking for 70 days now, so we're going to end up needing waterproofs. So we haven't got the chip on a t-shirt or anything. So for us at the moment, whilst we've got them, we're not actually wearing them, but we have got these. They're little business cards. On one side, it has the written covenant that we're asking people to sign, and then on the other side is the website where people literally they've got the website there, and it's really so easy to find. All the if you put in digital covenant, it's the first thing that will come up. You don't even have to put Scotland in there. You just put digital covenant, bang, it's there. You can sign it. I wish we could, you know, if we I don't know if they're going to try and get us the jackets, because it's a lot easier for somebody just to scan their phone over a chip, right, and I can get it signed from there. But
we've been having temperatures of a lot hotter than they anticipated, and we had 25 the other day.
25 degrees
25
up, straight up hills.
So it's impossible to wear the
jackets,
the waterproof jackets currently that they've issued us.
So, and we have found actually with the cards, because the area that we're walking at the moment is
very sparsely
very the population is spread out over. I can't. If you don't know that, well, you'll know, because you know what it's like over here, Philadelphia. We're walking from a tiny, you know, we set off from a very tiny little hamlet this morning, and then walked to another tiny hamlet, and you don't see a lot of people. So anybody that you do see, you have a conversation with, distanced, and then you can hand them a card and off they go. I mean, it's not like, I know we spoke to Dave yesterday, and he was at a co-op with lots of people. We haven't got anywhere with lots of people. We're actively taking the covenant out to really rural areas, and it's been very interesting. We stopped at it was like a craft shop, wasn't it? In the middle of nowhere, there was a craft shop, and we went in there. We were all masked up, and she had her mask on, and she'd only been there for a few weeks, but said it was going really well. But she was never heard of the covenant before. Took the cards and took some for her friends, and then there was like a little. We had the telephone boxes, a really old-fashioned telephone box. These red telephone boxes that used to exist. And they're not used anymore, and they're used for other things. And in there was a space to put cards, so we could leave the information about the covenant in there. So we've had quite a good response from the people that we've. And
card rights.
That was what it was going to be one of my questions, because the reaction of the people on the road. I suppose there is a big difference between the first walk. The 500 miles and now, obviously, because you're very experienced and you have you have another point of view about these kind of events. Do you notice, or have you noticed any difference in the reaction, or it's too soon, because it's only the second day today, no?
I think part of the thing is there have been differences, but it's hard to tell because all that was pre-COVID. And so that's going to account for a certain amount of either eagerness to talk, because some people, because of the COVID situation, haven't seen anybody in a very long time, and that they're all too happy to talk.
It's making me think that there was a lady today. We stopped. We've learned a few things because of the heat. Making ourselves stop every 2 hours, because when you're walking, you kind of lose track of time, and your body's not always good at saying you need to stop now. So we put an alarm on to stop us every couple of hours. And the second stop we had was coincidentally near a house. And lady, she came up, she came and she said, "Oh, I've come to see who you are, because you're not the normal kind of, you know, the
cyclists."
So what are you doing? She asked about it, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'm now a yeser." But her husband was on the way to have a look as well, because they couldn't believe these people had stopped here. And she was saying, "Oh, but he's no." So, but what we had there was we were able to give her the card, and also we had a van there with information about the UK government and stuff on the side of the van. And as the man came out, he could actually read the side of the van. And I think that was quite, because they were both very friendly. They, you know, they were lovely. They were
absolutely.
but I think they were water. They filled our water up and everything. They were lovely. But that just kind of made me think that kind of there's a pivoting happening. I think. I think there is there's a change, and that couple kind of said it to me, because she's saying, "Yeah, I'm now yes, but my husband isn't."
Also, the other change is that when we did the original 500, things looked a little bit different politically speaking.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons we did the second 500 as we did. And the issues that we went down for still haven't been addressed. In fact, if anything, they've gotten worse. And Westminster is threatening all sorts of actions against Scottish sovereignty. Absolutely. And Scottish Parliament and changing things, and this cannot be allowed to continue. So there are people that were not necessarily for Scottish independence, but they've seen it as the only way that they're going to be able to survive, such as things are.
Yeah.
I mean, now you're in Scotland. You're in the situation where actions must be taken.
Yes.
And I guess because the political situation is getting worse and worse and worse, and sovereignty is disappearing.
Yes.
And Holyrood is in danger. Obviously, we saw that from the beginning, before Boris Johnson, it was Theresa May, and we all knew that Westminster was going to scrap Holyrood, or that was the idea, with all the Brexit thing and all the powers, etc., and the power grab. Now with all the social problem that we have with the virus, and now that the situation, the action must be taken. Every single action, every wee action, even walking or staying, keeping the social distancing, etc., I think is necessary. And I see some criticism in social networks. Fear, because of fear.
I think there is criticism, and I think we are aware of that. And I think, but for us, I think we have to we've got to keep ourselves safe. We've got to keep other people safe. But the bigger picture is we have to keep Scotland safe.
Yeah.
And come the 31st of December. It feels a little bit like not a little bit. It is falling off the edge of a cliff, and because COVID is here, we can't not do anything because the UK government is certainly doing things and certainly moving forward. So we can't do nothing. It's
and the thing as well is that Westminster seems more interested in what's going on in Scotland than they do in dealing in a productive way against COVID, and using this situation with COVID to advance a lot of their political agendas. They're taking advantage of this. I believe the situation with COVID is clearly a serious one, and I'm not suggesting otherwise, but it's been used as a political means as a smokescreen, basically, for Westminster to do whatever they wish. And of course, as soon as people start to get wind of it, some news story comes out about something that's really uninteresting.
Yeah, it's really, it's very frightening times for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of instability everywhere, and I think when you have that level of instability, it means that I'm going to say this. It puts me in mind of the situation in Germany, probably pre-World War II. It means that a government can
Circumvent.
or it can if it shows some sort of strength, even if that strength is absolutely abhorrent, that people latch onto it, and then so people will do things and say things which are which for me are abhorrent, you know, trying to get rid of people, you know, and even the COVID situation. I don't know if I'm making myself clear here, but I know that at the moment in the COVID situation, they're going to start, I believe, in England, paying people a considerable amount of money to snoop on their neighbours, to check that they're not having groups of more than 6 people together. Well, I completely get that the validity of that for COVID, but that has got, you know, far repercussions, far beyond
sets
that.
A precedent, which
that's back in Germany pre-World War II.
This is one of the reasons why the 1320 is so important. I mean, originally I wasn't planning on doing another walk. I kind of figured we'd achieved what needed to be achieved. Any more would have been a gimmick. But when they came to us and mentioned about this project, I suddenly realized that it really isn't about what we want to do, it's what we have to do. And if we don't try, if we don't do something, then bad things are going to happen. It's as simple as that. Things are really bad as it is, and everybody sees that Scotland is clearly a democratic island in this sort of sea of fascist sharks, basically. And
that's what I agree with you.
And we really need to be conscious of that. We're seeing more and more countries around the world, Spain, America, Westminster and such, that are using the exact same techniques, because as unpleasant as they are, they achieve, it's like a bully. As long as somebody's a bully, they can get what they want. And the only way of stopping a bully is standing up to a bully. You have to take away their power at every possible level, through social support, through putting them into the minority, and establishing rules which they have to live by. And autocratic, authoritarian, neoliberalist movements that around the world are only causing pain and detriment and devastation wherever they are. No economy has thrived through it. No country has benefited on a on a vast scale. Individuals have benefited from it, but not the general people.
No.
And Scotland is well known as a sanctuary against this kind. People are moving from England to Scotland just because they can't be dealing with that.
Yes, that's true.
And because they know
that's
they're going to
very
get a
true.
fair deal up here.
Yeah.
Everybody has a fair chance.
Yeah.
And so it needs to happen.
It's curious because you both are from England.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember that we spoke about this particular issue, that you being English in Scotland, and the bad atmosphere about the English people living in Scotland, and you deny or rejected that particular case is not the case. You are very integrated in Scotland and well received and well cared, etc. No? And both of you are pro-independence.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So, do you think the way that the Boris Johnson is handling the COVID crisis and also the Brexit negotiations are provoking that the many English people understand that Scotland has to be independent?
Yeah, I think it's hard to know where to begin with that, because Boris Johnson is so incompetent, and people rely on that incompetence because nobody really expects anything. And while that is going on, a lot of other stuff is going on.
Yeah.
And I think his approach to COVID and his approach to, there is no constructive approach to Brexit. He's like a little boy who doesn't want to do his homework and doesn't want to eat his dinner, but he wants his afters, and he wants that surprise he was going to get if he was a good boy.
Wow.
And he's sitting there banging the table and putting the porridge thing on his head and screaming like a spoilt brat. And that's Boris Johnson. And then afterwards he sort of jokes and as if it's, oh well, that's just Boris. And the thing is, it isn't just Boris. This is the guy that is ruining the future of several countries and multiple generations. Because if Brexit goes through, there's going to be severe consequences, and he's aware of the advantage it gives them, the elite, the upper hand. And there's no recourse, because they're getting rid of the recourse by removing the Scottish. Well, it looks like they're trying to remove the Scottish government, and there's no recourse because they won't be beholden to the United Nations or the human rights issues of the European Union.
And they've been very, the one thing the UK government has been very, very, very clear on is that actually they don't really care about anybody else's laws, and they don't even care about their own. And I think when it comes to COVID with Cummings, he's not an elected person, he's an advisor to the Prime Minister or to Boris Johnson. And I think that it was blatant, it was so blatantly obvious when he broke all the regulations that are in place to protect people against COVID by going up to up to the north of England with his and this, it was like a fanciful set of reasons why that had to be, and then some strange thing about him testing his eyesight with the children in the car.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah,
it was totally ridiculous. And yet they just all went, yeah, well, that's okay. It's the real news, that's, and the way they deal with that with their government, and you compare that with absolutely everything that happens, it's not just through the UK government, but through the BBC as well, coming out with the way they present the Scottish Parliament and their and the whole, we had the whole Nicola Sturgeon debacle just recently, because she was doing this, I think, the establishment yeah, she gave the talks on COVID, and then the
yes, yeah,
BBC have said, well,
actually, the updates of the COVID updates. Yeah, I know. The BBC is a disaster. It's just disgraceful. Well, let's remind people how people can help you. Can people join you or support you, and which way?
They can, if
sorry.
so there's a website. There's a website which, if you have a look on that, it's the
freedom dot the round table.
Yes,
that's right.
Right. Spot.
Yeah. No, I put that there. So
yeah,
when I edit the video, I will put the website, and you can see the website. You can enter into the website, and also, as Dave told me, I think it's right, any one of us can sponsor the event, right?
There's also means for people who want to offer their services, if they want to be support or in some other way. There are links so people can put forward their what they'd like to practically contribute, or it doesn't have to be just financial.
We had somebody, it was a pharmacist who gave us the most comprehensive medical kits for a specific, and that was donated. We had the Sir Alba drum and pipe band. They donated water bottles to us. So there's things that people can practically do which are like COVID safe, and also in individual areas we might not be able to get out and gather in groups, but people can certainly get out and wave flags. they can
Yes.
So if they look on the website and see when our walk is coming near them, because there will be, I mean, we spoke to two people today, right, who were walking, and they said, oh, we're going to be here for a couple of days, and one of them was from Aberdeen. So I said, oh, we're in Aberdeen on. And then the other one said, oh, but I've lived there, but I won't be there. I'll be in Edinburgh. And I said, no, it's all right, because we'll be in Edinburgh on. And he said, well, I'm Edinburgh. I'm from Falkirk. And I said, well, that's all right. We're in Falkirk on. Yeah. So I said, get out and just be there. Just keep to all the COVID stuff. Keep yourself safe. But you can get out. You can wave a flag.
And sign the covenant.
And sign the covenant. That's the major thing.
That's the main thing. Sign the covenant. Because with that, we can change. We can change it.
Yeah. The checks on Twitter, the hashtag sign the covenant. Yeah. The hashtag sign the covenant.
Yes,
probably
it will
be.
Yeah.
And the hashtag the long way to freedom. And you can see all the pictures, etc. Beautiful pictures of groups gathering, and also people waving the flags.
Yeah. Unless you're in a bubble.
Yeah. Okay, guys, Karl, Ever, the best of luck. I'll be in touch with you. Let me know how things going with you and your third walk. You have excuses. You have to walk the Camino de Santiago.
Definitely.
At
a more leisurely pace. Yeah.
Listen, if you walk the Camino de Santiago at least the 100 kilometers, I'll go with you.
Oh, yes.
Definitely, because you're fantastic. You're champions. Well done, very well done.
You're very kind, and you're exceptional as well. You've always been a very, very, very true and loyal supporter of our causes, and that's been greatly appreciated.
That is internationalism. It's internationalism. It's brother and sisterhood, you know.
Yeah,
so, well, take care. Okay, buen camino, muy buen camino.
Thank you.
Trip, good. Okay,
Okay.
Denise, and we'll be in touch, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, you take care now.
Hi,
Yeah.
hi, QR.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.